I need to ask this question to all Cowboy fans. To all Cowboy fans, I need to ask this question. Do you feel comfortable when Dak Prescott has the game on the line? No matter how many points on the board, no matter what the time is, do you still feel that special thing that you thought that we once felt in Dak Prescott when he was a rookie? Is he the future of the Dallas Cowboys? He has a big paycheck, so by salary wise, he is. But where do you feel? What do you feel about Dak Prescott? Seriously, he's a good guy. I like him. He's a good quarterback. But do you have the same feeling, if you remember Roger Staubach, that feeling that he gave you, Troy Aikman, and a lot of times Tony Romo? Tony didn't have the cast around him like Troy Aikman did and Roger Staubach. But I saw improvement from Tony Romo from game after game. So tell me right quickly, do you believe in your heart of hearts Dak Prescott is the future of the Dallas Cowboys? Hear me out.
Can you start with what you saw in the pick six at the end, just what the call was and how it developed?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it was a conversion play and scramble and an unlucky bounce for us. Great, hell of a play by them.
What's your frustration level given you had a 17
we knew coming in here they were playing extremely well. We identified it all week. I thought the players had a good week of preparation. That's a talented team, and I think Doug does an excellent job. But the numbers, and the things that we didn't do so well. But it was knockdowns. You could just feel the game the way it was going. And then particularly when we kicked the 2 field goals. We just needed to keep getting touchdowns. We had a number of injuries on defense. I really felt our young guys did a hell of a job stepping in there. Because we had a lot of guys going in and out. So definitely disappointed. And just as I told them in the locker room, when you look at this game in Green Bay, you lose 2 overtime games, but we've put a tremendous amount of work into end of game situations and in this phase, in this situation. And I'm just a huge believer. You just got to keep working, stay after it. They know the investment that they've made really the last 2 years. I mean, that's my first year. That's, clearly was something that we need to improve on. And I'm disappointed, but in the same breath, we got a crazy schedule here. Not crazy. We got a different schedule we're dealing with, and so we'll take a look at it here on the buses, on the planes, and when we touch down, we got to turn the page.
Mike, Louis Gross, ABC Dallas. Can you take me through the thought process when
7-17 ensuing Cowboys possession. What in the world is Dak doing?
It's second and 18, bro. Don't have to force these situations if the quarterback arm gets hit a little bit, but trying to do too much, that is a massive takeaway for that Jacksonville defense.
Turns the whole game, RC, and they turn it into this to Marvin Jones.
They go right back at Kelvin Joseph. We get the out route, perfect throw by Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars on the move.
27-24, and wait, there's more. Christian Kirk.
Yeah, really impressive yesterday by Trevor Lawrence versus man coverage at the line of scrimmage. You get that little rubber pick route, beautiful throw on the sideline.
And then on the 3rd and goal, it's Lawrence. Boom!
Great job.
Zay Jones again.
Perfect coverage by Dallas, and a great job of reacting and adjusting by Trevor Lawrence.
Frustration on the Dallas sideline. Cowboy possession, 3rd and 6. Prescott, Noah Brown.
Really nice job by Dak Prescott. Spins out to his left, finds Noah Brown, who had a big afternoon, comes back to the football. Great play out by number 4.
Cowboys up 34-31, won a game, but then what a play from Trevor Lawrence.
If Trevor Lawrence gets out of the pocket, he's going to get down the field. You think he's going to get the big play. Ball pops out, J-Ron Curtis. Michael Parsons on the hustle. It's a fumble recovery. You say, okay, here it is. The Dallas Cowboys win the game. Let's shake hands like nerds and go home.
They could have won it, but wait, on the 3rd and 10, this is what they do.
Probably the worst play call that you could have in this situation. 3rd and 10, everybody runs down the field. It's low probability completion rate. Not a good play call.
We'll hear from the coach on it in a minute. Meantime, here comes Trevor Lawrence. Zay Jones. There's a first them in field goal range. 5 seconds left. 48 yards from Riley Patterson for the tie.
Stay there, ball. Stay there, ball.
We're going to overtime. And that's how this finishes it. Cowboys' first possession of the OT. This is a third down. Sean Jenkins is the hero.
Not Dak Prescott's fault. Moves a little bit in the pocket, goes exactly where it needs to be for Noah Brown. Ball pops off his chest right into Jacksonville's hands.
Jenkins had his second pick of the day. It's a pick 6 to end
Look at
the
that
walk-off pick. The Jaguars win it 40-34. Mike McCarthy, how about that play call?
Offensively, you play it conservative and run the ball, take the time off the, where you try to end the game. So it's a pretty simple decision, and then when it converts, it's a great call. When it doesn't, you get criticized for it.
Well, he's right about that. It's time to criticize him because it's.
JMac Sports 24/7. I'm JMac. Thank you for coming to the channel. This is your first time coming to the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. And do, by all means, give me your comments on the video itself, the game. And thank you for all my subscribers that are subscribing to the channel. It looks like the talking heads and a lot of our fan base want to put the blame on Mike McCarthy. Although everyone needs blame for this loss, the lion's share does not go to, in my opinion, in my view, does not go to the coach, but it goes to Dak Prescott. And I'm going to break it down and tell you why I feel that way. That the lion's share belongs to Dak Prescott. I am a Dak Prescott supporter. I'm a Dak Prescott guy. Dakota Prescott. I want Dak to succeed. If Dak succeeds, the Dallas Cowboys succeed. If the Dallas Cowboys succeed, we as fans of the greatest team on earth succeed. America's team succeed. If Dak succeed. But these prognosticators, experts, analysis, former football players want to say is Mike McCarthy and his decision making. Mike McCarthy did not call the plays. He's not the offensive coordinator. We have an offensive coordinator to call plays, and he's not it. It's Kevin Moore. Actually, both of our coordinators suck yesterday. Suck. We haven't had really good coordinators since the 90s. We really haven't. But I digress. Just like the talking heads here, the media, Nick Eatman, who's a good writer for the DallasCowboys.com, he wrote this. Wow, where do we start with this one? Then again, does it even matter about the start? Apparently not on this day. The Cowboys couldn't have started out any better, building a 14-0 lead, eventually going up by 17 points, only to have it come crashing down at the end. If you felt like you're seeing this one before, you pretty much did about a month ago when the Cowboys blew the lead in Green Bay and lost in overtime. But why does this one hurt even worse? Well, it's because it's not Aaron Rodgers lining up on the other side, and it's not the historic Lambeau Field. No, you lost to Trevor Lawrence in a place called Jacksonville, in a stadium that sounded like a home game. And not only that, you were up with a stranglehold on the game. Now, I know he kind of took a dig. He took a dig at Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a Heisman. I'm not Heisman Trophy. He's a national champion at Clemson. He's a good football player. He's a good quarterback, and his growth. He has a pretty high ceiling. I like him. So don't take a dig. I mean, the dude played. He played his butt off. Forget the numbers, 14, the amount they were up at half, or even 17, the lead. They hit the lead in the third quarter. The numbers that sticks out to this writer, Nick Eatman, is 10, and I'm talking about yards. You need a 10 yards to go to win this game. And get it? You're not going to be as wide open with the play calls because you're trying to run the clock out or run out the clock. Well, I think that's what they were doing, or trying to do. Isn't that's what it's called, running out the clock? I've never actually heard anyone say, hey, we've got a lead here. All we need to do is pass out the clock and we'll win. Yet the Cowboys chose not to run out the clock, or at least make the Jaguars run out of timeouts. That's all they had to do, and I think they win the game 34-31 in regulation. It's 3rd and 10 at Dallas 38-yard line. Just 2 plays after they came up with a huge fumble on Lawrence in the open field. The Cowboys ran it twice for a total of no yards, 0 yards, but the Jags burned their first 2 timeouts. But why? Why get cute and try to go win the game with a deep ball to Noah Brown? Sure, Brown had a big day to that point with 2 touchdown catches, but I don't think I'll want to throw it to Randy Moss at that point in the game. To me, this is another example of why I never agree with the term play to win the game versus playing not to lose. I've said it 100 times and I've said 100 more. To me, those are the exact same things. You're either playing to win or playing not to lose based on how aggressive you are from time to time. But at that time, it's not about throwing the ball deep to Brown on a 50-50 ball, hoping they call pass interference, which they really didn't call much all game long. Just run the ball again. It doesn't have to be up the middle. It could be something with a stretch play to Tony Pollard, where he might get loose and break one. Just keep the clock going and force a timeout. The Jaguars would have gotten the ball with about a minute to play and needing 30 to 40 yards for the field goal. But everything is different when you have no timeouts. You don't try as many crossing routes, and you seemingly have to force the ball to the sideline. What that does, it keeps it all short and makes it much more harder to nickel and dime your way down the field. I agree with that. And what happened? The Jags held onto the timeout until the very end, using it after a pass to Zay Jones over the middle to set up the game-tying field goal. Sure, we can talk about Dak Prescott's interception in the third quarter that led to a game-changing touchdown by the Jags. Yes. That's what we need to talk about. Yes. That is what we need to talk about. Stop talking about deflecting. Let's keep it on Dak. He goes, or the final pass of the game that bounced off of Brown and into the hands of Rayshon Jenkins for a touchdown. I mean, they probably would have lost anyway on a field goal, but I guess blocking the back isn't called in overtime. Seemed like Dak got a nice little shove in the back into the bench area. So now you're reaching. But the Cowboys had their chances to win the game, like 20 of them, and didn't take advantage of any of them. They really only have themselves to blame for this debacle in the second half. And the thing is, they didn't just lose the game in the second half or overtime, but little moments along the way. The ironic part of this game is, to me, to the writers, that they got a little conservative in the third quarter. I agree, and they settled for field goals. Offensive coordinator. But with the game on the line, when they need to get the Jags out of the timeout, they chose to be overly aggressive, and it cost them. Yes, the Cowboys lost the game on the final play, but it was too many plays throughout the game that led to this ugly finish. Bingo. There you go, right there. So, as I said, everyone gets blamed for this game. Mike Irvin, the playmaker, said it was a trap game, and I kind of believe with him. It was a trap game, and it was a trap. Well, it wasn't a trap game up until the second half of the game. We came and we played. We played pretty well. So I want to read off some comments. Some viewers of my channel had submitted to me regarding the video I submitted yesterday regarding Dak has declined or has reached its apex. So Solar3687 wrote, "Wow, I haven't seen you since Dak came back. This is shocking to hear you finally admit." And I responded, "Being a family man at times, I had to take the lead of my day-to-day, but I've been watching the play of Dak very closely with an objective mind the last few weeks. Like the infamous line of basketball star Rasheed Wallace, the ball don't lie. And in my eyes, in Dak's case, my eyeballs don't lie." Solar wrote, spot on with everything else, though, pretty much. And I appreciate that, Solar. Appreciate your input. Robert Satchel 4829 writes, "I am not a big Dak fan in regard to being a top-notch football player, but his receiving core is very inconsistent in catching the football skill set of junior high players at times." So I responded back, "I agree with you, but can you explain, if this is what the consensus of the Cowboys Nation, why does Uncle Jerry, meaning Jerry Jones, let Amari Cooper go? To your point, pre-Amari Cooper, Dak was a middle-of-the-pack QB. When Amari Cooper arrived, Dak began to look as an above, even some arenas, as an elite QB. Post Amari Cooper, he has looked back to being a middle-of-the-pack quarterback. Linda Easley 5606 writes, "All his fans have their excuses. Dak is perfect. It's just everyone else's fault when he stinks like manure. He rushes his decisions and makes mistakes. Most of his INTs are because he forced the ball to a target, whether they are set with the pass or not. I've seen him throw worm killers. I've seen him miss his receivers by a mile. I've seen him throw into traffic just to get rid of the ball. He gets panicky in the pocket if his receivers aren't wide open." And someone wrote, "Dak is not a system QB." That's Carlos Flores. Dak is not a reply back to Linda. Dak is not a system QB. Defense gets you the ball back, and you go 3-and-out. Horrible throw to 85, but Dak is perfect. I guess he was being sarcastic there. So to Linda's point, Dak is not an accurate quarterback, especially when he's in the battle. And when he throws that ball and the ball is not on point and the wide receiver is trying, and I mentioned this in my video yesterday, when the wide receiver is trying to catch the ball, in other words, making an extra effort, an exerted effort to catch this ball, where the ball can be behind, too high, too low, and the coverage is really tight, then there's a propensity of a tip ball, and Dak have had numerous tip balls this season. Savvy Status 3581 writes, "How about the worst rates O-line when it comes to pass protection? Let's get real here. We don't need to be thrashing the QB, because that's the easiest person to blame." I disagree. He gets the glory, and yeah, you can thrash him. He's a QB of the Dallas Cowboys, and he has been playing like he needs to be thrashed. And he wants the position. He wants to be paid as a top 5 quarterback. Dak Prescott want to be paid like a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the National Football League. And he's getting paid as just. Let's let that marinate for a second or two. Dak Prescott is getting paid very, very well as a QB in the National Football League for the Dallas Cowboys. Is he trying to justify his pay by making those type of throws? He won't to be accepted. I'm sure Dax can't keep the noise out of his ears. He's reading the papers. He sees the local media. Here's the local media in Dallas and the national media. I mean, when you're a Cowboy, it's national media. It's not just media. It's not just local media. It's national media. T. Hill triggered 8020. I'm sorry I butchered your name. Micah should have been worrying about the Lawrence system instead of the Hurt system. Is Dak the system? I don't know where. All right, Savvy Status writes again. This isn't a Dak problem. This is a play calling problem, continuity problem, and an injury problem. Simply ain't no way your QBR 107 and you the problem. Doesn't work that way. Go look at these wide receivers. Again, I'm a Dak supporter. I like Dak. I like Dak. I like Dak a lot. But Dak is not the type of leader that I need, that a lot of Cowboy fans need. I need a leader like Roger Staubach. I need a leader like Troy Aikman. And much as I'm a huge Tony Romo fan, I didn't see this in Tony, what I'm about to say. I'm going to chew you out. I'm going to get into your ear. Maybe not like the Tom Brady type of chew out on the sideline where the cameras are in your face and you chewing your linemen out, your teammates out. In the locker room, yes. I mean, you do that. But that's what you have assistant coaches for. I've seen this. Troy Aikman, going off, he does not like what the coach is doing, the head coach. He don't like what the receivers are doing, how they're playing. I've seen this. I've heard stories of Charles Haley in the locker room putting holes in walls. Darren Woodson getting in players' ears. Who on this team? Who? As the New Day say. And I don't like the New Day, but if you're a wrestling fan, you know who the New Day, who they are, is. But who either side of the ball, offense, defense, special teams, who do you see getting in players' ears, lighting the fire up there behind? Who? Our coach is not going to do it. We don't have the type of coach. If he's doing it, behind closed doors, but what I can say that he has done, and I'm talking about Mike McCarthy, is that we only had 2 penalties yesterday. 2, I believe. 2. So that's an improvement. So that falls on the coach. And finally, this last quote, comment from Big Joker 6892. Big Joker. Decline? He was never up to decline. Overrated big time. I did respond to Big Joker. I said, Big Joker, everyone reaches an apex everyone in life, no matter what you're doing. It may not be to someone else's apex, but everyone reaches an apex, Big Joker. Everyone. No matter what they do, you reach a pinnacle at some point in your career. It's an apex. And as I wrote, everyone has a different apex. And then there's always a decline because we get older. Father Time, decreases your apex. And then I appreciate your comment. Studs and duds of the game. Stud. Jaron Curse. Played lights out. Totally agree. Dud. Dan Quinn. Totally agree. Totally agree. Since Dan Quinn joined the Cowboys, he's done a great job of rehabbing his image, which was torn down at the tail end of his career with the Atlanta Falcons. He's turned one of the worst defenses in the NFL into one of the best. But over the past couple of weeks, They haven't lived up to the expectations. They made the stops when they countered against the Houston Texans, but still struggled with Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll. This weekend, they were picked apart by Jacksonville, giving up 21 unanswered points in the second half to go from holding a 27-10 lead to facing a 31-27 deficit. Stud, Michael Parsons. Totally agree. Dud, Mike McCarthy. I don't want to go into it because there's going to be a lot of people chewing out or agreeing with that comment. Stud, Deron Bland. Yes. This rookie has proven himself. On 3rd and 7 play, Deron Bland drew coverage on Christian Kirk, and he had a shot at hauling in the first down pass from Trevor Lawrence. Bland made sure that didn't happen as he got his hand in front of Kirk and broke up the pass, forcing the punt. Bland later found himself on Kirk's on 3rd and 9 with roughly a minute and 30 to play in the first half. Again, Lawrence put the ball on the money, and Bland was a step behind Kirk. Then sold out as he drove to break up the pass and did just enough to force another completion and a punt. In the second half, he kept proving he was a playmaker as he picked off a pass from Lawrence intended for Kirk, giving the Cowboys the ball back after they just went up 24-10. I like this guy. And then, yes, Dud, Kevin Joseph. I felt sorry for him. Kevin Joseph is replacing Anthony Brown. And I always want to say Larry Brown, Super Bowl MVP against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We miss Anthony Brown. we miss Anthony Brown. This shows. And unfortunately, it's going to be shown again when you play the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be shown again against the Eagles. Our defense, the last few games, I mean, we're giving up too many yardage on the ground. Too many points on the board. Our defense had a total of 63 tackles. 43 of them were solo tackles. Do you know how many tackles the Jacksonville Jaguar defense had? A total of 86, with 58 of them being solo. Rayshon Jenkins had 18 tackles, 9 of them being solo. We didn't have anyone hit double figures in totals or solo. We Dak Prescott, 23 for 30, 256 yards, averaging, 8.5 yards, 3 TDs, 2 interceptions. And they always seem to. Tony Pollard, 19 carries for 75 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 16 for 58 yards. Receiving. CeeDee Lamb had over 100 yards receiving yards. 7 receptions. And we got a nail. Dak Prescott's QBR rating was 72, but the rating for the game is 107.1. I'm not sure how they rate these. Trevor Lawrence had a 109 rating with a 59.8 QB. But they ran the ball for 192 yards. 192 yards. We cannot win anything giving up 192 yards on the ground. Yeah, mind you, some of those was in overtime, but the bulk of those was in regulation. 318 yards in the air we give up. I don't know. JMac Sports 24/7. I'm JMac. If this is your first time coming to the channel, as I started out on the video, please like, share it with a friend, hit that like. Watch it a second time for me if you can. Appreciate it. Share with your family, with your friend. Share it with your coworker. Just email it to someone. But it doesn't take much to go ahead and hit the like, please. Hit the like button for me. Just slide down and hit the like button for me. And give me your comments so we can talk about it. You know, you heard me out, let me hear you out. Okay? Let's talk about, what more further about the game. And then we gotta start look toward the Filthy Eagles, who right now are the better team. They beat us already, so yeah, they're the better team this season. And they're winning close games. They're blowing out teams. They're beating teams they're supposed to beat. They're hitting all cylinders, and they're like a machine. A lot of misdirection plays. They run the ball at will. They pass the ball deep. They pass in the flat. They stretch plays. They RPOs. They do everything. Everything, and they doing it well. Quarterback sneaks. They got a quarterback that I believe maybe their leading rusher. If not, he probably lead them in rushing touchdowns because he has a lot of touchdowns. I know he lead all quarterbacks in running touchdowns. And he's not throwing the ball. He's not throwing it away. He's not turning the ball over like our quarterback is. He's not turning the ball over. He's being mindful. He's throwing the ball away when it's required to throw the ball away. That's what he's doing. Our quarterback wants to throw deep to Noah Brown on third down. He wants to throw INTs with his back against the end zone. That's what our QB want to do. But it's not Dak shouldn't get the blame. It should be all McCarthy. All Mike McCarthy. Although Kevin Moore is calling the plays. Dan Quinn. What adjustment did he make halftime? What adjustment did he make? On the fly in halftime. At second half. What kind of adjustment did Dan Quinn make? Like, share, subscribe, comment. I'm out.